Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, here back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's iconic culture clash. This is from the same brother that made the Martin video I reacted to a couple weeks ago. So yeah, without further ado, man, let's get right into it.
Alright, so today we're talking about the Fresh Prince and the dynamic that made it way different from everything else on TV at the time. And that was hood culture versus rich culture. Two completely different worlds that create completely different mindsets. Benny Medina came up with the core idea based on his own life, and Quincy Jones is the one who took that idea, brought in Will Smith, and saw instantly that dropping a kid with that much raw personality into a wealthy family would be explosive in the best way. Benny's real life story combined with Quincy Jones's ability to understand people from every background really made this concept feel natural and grounded. But what really made it stand out was that most black-led sitcoms of that time only showed either a poor cast of characters or a successful rich cast of characters. So when The Fresh Prince came in, it became one of the first mainstream sitcoms to put both worlds in the same family and let that class drive the story. And that alone made it feel like a standout concept before the first episode even aired. And speaking of the first episode, it did such a great job of presenting this dynamic immediately. Will shows up in these loud, bright colors, bold patterns, and then you see the Banks family who's more fancy and properly dressed, I guess you would say. This visual contrast alone kind of tells you everything you need to know right off the bat. They're setting the tone here, not just showing how different these people are, but why they're so different. Putting a heavy emphasis on environmental influences and how that really shapes people. You see, Will grew up using humor to get through everything. Pressure, stress, danger, embarrassment. Humor is a shield for him, and it's how he stayed afloat in a tough environment growing up. Uncle Phil is a character that also came from poverty, but the way he made it out was
Sadly, this kind of like rubbed off on Will in real life, though. Sadly, that whole like humor is like a self-defense mechanism. Like the fact that Will made that like a part of his, he took his Fresh Prince character and made it a part of his actual life. It's not really a good look, but I'm glad that he acknowledged that part of him and is in the process of trying to fix it. Hopefully. Shout out to Will though. Shout out to Will. But speaking of which, I need to do a review. I'm gonna start doing reviews on shit, bro. Like I just watched all of the last season of Bel-Air. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm gonna have to go in on that one. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to break my foot off in the show. All right. But anyways, so let's get back into this.
through discipline, and he takes school seriously. He takes responsibility seriously. He doesn't play around with these opportunities because life didn't give him that many to begin with.
I mean, I'm a joker. I play around. I have fun.
Being a joker is what's gotten you into trouble. Now, you may think it's cool to be on the streets when you're 17, but when you're my age, it's a waste.
You know, I can't think that far ahead.
That's your problem. You can't take anything seriously.
Will isn't just the funny kid from the hood. He's a kid with all the potential and charisma in the world, but he constantly lets his street mentality hold him back time and time again throughout the series. He chooses pride over logic. He shows fear of looking weak. He pushes back against authority for seemingly no reason a lot of the time, and he's prone to just reacting instead of thinking through a situation. I mean, Will never even wanted to leave Philly in the first place. His mom sent him after that famous basketball court fight, and you can tell his pride hates the idea of looking like he ran away. Not because he loved that lifestyle, but because running away after that fight made him look like a coward. But that's really the trap of this mentality. And remember, Will constantly gets the Banks kids into trouble. But all this doesn't make Will a bad person. He's just carrying bad habits from an unhealthy environment. And the show never glorified that. They let Will make his bed and face his consequences. With that being said though, the Banks family weren't a picture-perfect example of success either. They were flawed, but just on the total opposite side of the spectrum, with Hillary being completely dependent on her parents.
Dad, I need $300.
Hillary, your cousin Will is here.
Hi. Dad, I need $300.
She's grown, but she needs help with everything she does. She's oblivious to real-world problems because she's entitled, she's selfish, and she's just totally disconnected. Carlton is a...
I ain't gonna lie. There are so many arcs in this show where they could have really like took it to the next level. Like I say one, for example, obviously, you know, Will's growth in adjusting to Bel-Air. That, I mean, they had little arcs here and there, but a lot of the times, a lot of those arcs never stuck. Like with the one with Tyra Banks, that story should have went at least like a season and a half, not half of a season. Should have went a season and then could have went to half of the next season, and then you could have wrapped that shit up. Tyra Banks' character coming into play, that was a really great dynamic for Will's character. Somebody he grew up with, now in his land, and now he doesn't feel alone anymore. And on top of that, it's a girl on top of that too. So there could be a lot of growth there with him in relationships. Just saying. With Carlton, I really hate how he shows so much growth in that one episode when they was messing with OG Bobby Johnson. When they was trying to pledge in that group with OG Bobby Johnson, and then he went off at the end on him and snapped on him at the end. I feel like that was some growth for him, but then the very next episode he goes back to Goofy Carlton. It's like, no, I don't want Goofy Carlton. I just saw great character development from this guy. Let the character development grow. That was the main thing with this show. It was no continuity with the show, and it kind of like hurt it in the long run. It's like, no, if when we see growth from a character, let that growth carry on. You know what I'm saying? I understand you need comic relief every now and again from these characters, but at the same time, you could still get it out of Carlton, but at the same time, it's just that it was just, I would love to see his character take a step further. Like, okay, he's finally embracing being around Will. He's finally embracing, you know, that Bel-Air, that all just because he's in Bel-Air and his parents have money. They rich. He's still black. He still is going to experience, he's still going to go through the traumas and the trials and tribulations of the black experience in America. And I would love to see that character to grow from that development to where maybe he doesn't even want to go to Princeton. Maybe he wants to major in a HBCU or something like that. Like, that would have been a dope character development if we being honest. But I digress. I would love to see that character development with his character.
Good guy, but he's also a complete snob who judges people who have less than him. He doesn't understand or empathize with people who struggle. He thinks money and status equal character. And he also trusts systems that don't treat him the same once he steps out of Bel-Air. Their problems aren't as dangerous, but they are still very real. Rich culture can be just as damaging in its own way because it breeds entitlement, sheltered thinking, blind trust in authority, zero understanding of consequences, and thinking that money can solve everything. But Ashley is the one character in this show who kind of gets the best of both worlds. She's young enough to learn from Will's confidence, humor, and looseness.
Gonna hunt Miss Berkeley down and zap her.
Got this whole town of Bel-Air buzzing.
They did a good job with Ashley up until, I want to say, like the last season. The last season, they had her sneaking out the house and doing, like, I understand around that time, you know, that's when they started, you know, that's when you start trying to, you know, you start smelling yourself a little bit, you feel me? But doing it with Ashley though, it just didn't come off right, because it's like, okay, you making her seem like she being a little too fast now. Like, hold on there now. You ain't gotta make her fast. Why don't we make her type of girl? You don't have to make her that type of girl. You know what I'm saying? But they pedaled back on it. And they focused on, you know, yeah, They pedaled back on it though, because they was definitely going down that route. I could tell that they was going down that route with Ashley. They was gonna try to make her fast because she was growing up, and you know, Will's influence over her, making her feel like this and that. It's like, no. Luckily, they took a step back. They realized, hey, we don't want to taint this character like that. But it was getting to that point though.
Get a load of me and my rapping cousin.
I also think that with Ashley, I think there should have been a step. This goes back to the continuity thing though. I hate how one episode she has the #1 song in the world, and they don't capitalize on that. They don't make that. They don't make her song. They'll make her like juggle in the music a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Take a little bit more seriously. So that's why she ends up going to the art school and all that stuff. So that way she can get become bigger and better in the music industry. Because maybe she fails the first time, but maybe she can get back on her track, and maybe she can start her own, you know, music thing. Because the thing is, the first season, ironically, you started off with the music. She don't want to play the violin. She don't want to play the drums. But she is interested in music. You feel me? Like I don't know, man. I just feel like there are so many. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because it was the 90s, bruh, and content and with show like comedy shows per se, continuity wasn't really like a big thing back then. But like looking back at a lot of these shows now, continuity would have helped so much with a lot of the character development. That's the main thing, though. It's like I hate to judge things in today's time, but I feel like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air suffers from continuity conflicts, because it's like one episode, a character could take a huge step, and then the next minute they were right back to where they were before. It's the continuity of the show just like bad. Everybody tries to blame it on the light-skinned Aunt Viv. When the light-skinned Aunt Viv came in, that's when the show went bad. No, the show was bad even with the dark-skinned Aunt Viv, because the continuity just wasn't it.
But she's also raised with Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv's discipline, structure, and expectations.
Parents bought me this calendar so I could keep my lessons straight. Didn't you have a schedule for after school when you were my age?
Yeah, the TV guide.
So she grows into this perfect mix of all of these characters and becomes a version of a kid who takes the best of both sides, proving that these environments can be blended into something positive. And another thing that the show hardly gets credit for is how often Will is wrong. He's not the authentic, real one who's always right while the rich people are clueless. He gets humbled constantly. Like, for example, in the episode 72 Hours, Will bets Carlton that he can't last 72 hours in Jazz's neighborhood.
If you went down to Jazz's neighborhood, looking the way you look and talking the way you talk, you can come home walking the way you walk.
So Carlton agrees, and when he gets there, he switches up his style and his slang to blend in with Jazz's friends, but he never loses his core values. He finds the style and rhythm to fit in, but he still brings his world into the room, because while Jazz's friends are teaching him slang, swagger, and how to loosen up, Carlton starts putting them onto real estate and opening Schwab accounts and building financial stability.
Yo, how you playing me, Prince?
What?
Yo, you dissing me!
Come on, man, stop it! Hey, see, no. How do I figure my
RP Depot.
Put your questions down, I'll hook you up later.
I want to thank you for that tip. I'm gonna go out and get me some of them douche marks.
Deutsch marks.
I'm gonna get back with you later so you can help me open that Schwab account. Peace.
They love me.
Becomes this unexpectedly balanced exchange, and they help Carlton loosen up. He helps them level up strategically. It proves you can blend into a new environment and still stay true to who you are.
I humiliated you in front of your peers. Plus, you said I couldn't handle Compton, and I did. I'd say it's time to gloat.
And last but not least here, Uncle Phil is the glue holding this entire dynamic together. He's a character that comes from poverty, but fought his way up, and he understands the worldviews of both Will and his son Carlton. He knows what it means to struggle, and he knows what it means to succeed. And I'd say the pool hall episode is probably the clearest example that underneath all that success is a man who remembers where he came from, and he wants his kids to take advantage of their privilege without becoming out of touch. Uncle Phil shows what happens when someone from poverty escapes the poison but doesn't forget the people stuck in it.
I ain't seen too many people shoot like that. Where'd you learn?
Well, let's just say I've spent time in a pool hall or two in my life. I know a
If there was a character that had a lot of character development, it was Uncle Phil for sure. Uncle Phil character development from season 1 all the way to the end, probably the best. That's why Uncle Phil gets credited as one of the best TV dads out there. All right, first thing first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. For real. You know, any father that I ever knew. I get my bitch pregnant, I'm gonna be a better you. RP Uncle Phil, but like, dog, his character development from the first season to the last episode, spectacular, brother. The best by far, not even up for debate. He probably had the best character development on this show from the main character himself. That's crazy.
goes on there. You think I want to spoil your fun? I just want you to come home in one piece.
Overall, though, this show was a hit because it wasn't a one-sided story. Anyone could see themselves in these characters somewhere, whether it was in Will's humor and pride, or Carlton's confidence and cluelessness, Hillary's privilege, Ashley's balance, Uncle Phil's strength and masculinity, or Aunt Viv's discipline and patience. But more importantly, this show drew a clear line between hood culture and black culture, showing that being in the streets, joining gangs, and using drugs aren't built into black identity.
Not unusual to be loved by anyone.
The INGs at the end of my words doesn't make me any less black than you.
The streets aren't a cultural destiny. They're an environment, and your environment shapes your future in ways culture alone never could. It's why two people can share the same skin color and still end up in completely different worlds.
Alrighty, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one, man. For sure, for sure. Hey, this was a good one. Hey, this is a good one. Good one. Yeah. This is up. That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
that's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. But anyways, though, that's just go about do it for this one. Most definitely, man. I'm gonna probably get that Bel Air review going soon. I'm gonna start doing. You know what? Next year, going into 2026, I'm definitely finna start switching it up a little bit. I need to expand my horizons. You feel me? I need to do a little bit more on here. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot. I'm juggling, you know, with a lot of stuff on my plate, man. I got a lot of big ideas coming, man. But I said I'm gonna wait till 2026 to pop off on y'all, man. So we're gonna start with a brand new shit. Brand new bitch, brand new whip, you know what I'm saying, type shit. No, the fuck is this nigga talking? No. But anyways, though, I think, yeah, next year I'm definitely gonna start doing TV reviews and movie reviews and stuff like that, for sure. It's time I start expanding my horizons a little bit, you feel me? But other than that, though, man, most definitely, man, Fresh Prince is definitely a classic. I ain't gonna never sit up here and say Fresh Prince of Bel Air is not a hood classic, if not one of the best hood classics, arguably one of the best hood classics. Would I put it above Martin? Fuck no. Martin will forever be my number one. It ain't even up for debate, bro. It's Martin, Fresh Prince, and then whoever else after that. But other than that, though, man, I will see you all in the next video. Till then, deuces.